And now you can see that it's covering everything, and this is basically what it looks like. Hello and welcome back. So we have been doing a couple of boring stuff in the last couple of videos, and in this video what we are going to do is that we will implement this first screen that we have, which is welcome to Food Hub. It has a couple of stuff, and then it has this background image that we will be using. So pretty simple, to be honest, in terms of what it is. But let's see. Let's just get started. So the first thing that we need to do is that we need to get this background image for us. Okay. So for this background image, you can see that we need this. And once you do that, so we have this thing, right? So you can see that we have this one thing. And for that, what I'll do is that I'll make it a 3x. Okay. And we'll export it. That's the first thing that we need to do. Okay, so now we have exported that, right? The next thing that we could be needing is that this Facebook icon. So what I'm gonna do is that what I'm doing right now is that I'm trying to export everything that is supposed to be used in the video. So, and that is going to be Facebook. That is also going to be like this. This other option is going to be Google. And for Google, let's just do the same, make it an SVG and then export it as SVG and call it IC Google. Okay, so now we have pretty much what we want in terms of the icons and the images that we are going to use. And now let's just get over here, and inside this section let's just create a new package. So I'll just right click over here, create a new package. Okay, and then inside that I'll call it um, UI dot features. Okay, which means that now we'll have a feature class, and then inside feature we'll create a package that's call it home. Okay, now inside this home I'll create a new Kotlin class and call it home screen, or let's call it not a home, let's call it auth screen, change the package name as well. So let's create a class like this. Okay, and then inside this UI let's create another package and call it uh, features dot auth. Okay, and now let's take this class into this auth section. Now once you do that, you will get this. So I'm going to get rid of this, and I'll create a composable, and inside this composable I'll create a function and call it auth screen. Okay, now this auth screen means that now from there basically we will be creating the navigations that are related to the uh, in this specific section we will be creating the view that we wanted. Now, now you remember that we exported a couple of things, so we need to import those into the project as well. So I'll go get over here into this resource folder, and into this drawable section. Let's just create right click and then go for vector assets. And once you select vector assets, you go to desktop, and then inside this desktop, let's select IC Facebook, which is this. So just use the same way that it is. Then we go again, we select another asset. This time it's going to be the Google, so I'll use Google and we'll save it. So the third one is this PNG splash. So what I'm gonna do is that I'll call this something as background PNG. So I'm gonna copy this and paste it over here inside like this. Okay, so we have this cute so we have this image over here, and I think everything is done. Now let's just close everything, go back to our auth screen. Okay, now the first thing that I wanted over here is that I want that image. So what I'll do is that I'll create a box modifier, and inside this box I'll be making it a fillmax class like this, so that it covers, sorry, so that imported the wrong modifier. So make sure to import this compose UI modifier, and then once you import that, you can get rid of this for now. And the next thing that we need is that we need to implement image. So let's just use an image and call it a painter resource. Now once you do that, what you need to do is that you need to define the resource that you want to access. So in our case it was background, so I'll call it like this. Okay, make sure to import the R file. Once you do that, you'll get it like this. And then the next thing that you need to do is that null as well. Okay, now this is done, and there are two ways to test anything. So the first thing is either you can run the code again and again, or what you can do is that you can define a preview, and it says shows background, and then again you need to create a composable and call it a preview screen. And once you do that, all you need to do is that you need to like build the app again. So once you build that, it will show you something similar over here. So once you do that, now you can see that it's updated. Now you need to switch to this, and once you switch, it will just take a while, and now you can see that this is how it is looking. If you look into the design over here, you see that this is basically covered under a gradient, right? We have some sort of gradient over here. So we need to do is that we need to set some sort of gradient over it. So to set a gradient, what you need to do is that you need to define a brush. Okay. So we'll just create a brush for this. So I'll call it wall brush is equals to brush. Okay, and over here you can define that what kind of like gradient you want. In our case, let's say I want a vertical gradient with the transparent and black. You can also define uh, how much like how much of the screen size should this gradient cover, right? You can also set something like this. So once you set it like this, let's say, and then you just get this. So basically what we will do is that we'll create a box again, and this box is basically going to take care of what it is. So the first thing that it's going to take is that it will be setting the background, right? And along with that, we can also say is that it says match parent size, which means that it will be covering the parent size. Now you can see that we have something like this, which is not an ideal, but when I take off that uh, when I take off the other like the end y, it looks like that. Now let's say you want to like make it a systematic rather than implement like depending on these 300 values. What you can do is that you can maybe define based on the size of the screen, right? So if you want to set something like this, what you will do is that you will create a state, and for that what we will do is that we will say image size is equals to remember. Okay, and then inside this remember, what we will do is that we will say mutable state of int int size dot 0. This means that this is basically the value that we will be setting, and then the next thing that we need to do is that we need to uh, set some sort of global positioning on this so that we know that what's going on. So now for that, what we will do is that we will say modifier dot on globally position, which means now this is basically uh, depending on this dynamic, it will get the size, and based on that size, what we can do is that we can define this value. So what we will be doing that image size dot value dot height, right? And then that height, what you divide it by 2 means that it will be something like this. Let's say if I do it 3, it's something that goes like this. So you can do something like this. Also, since it's still not how it's like quite bright in this way, so what I'll do is that I'll make this background like so. I'll make it slightly lighter in term of alpha. So over here inside this probable, let's add one more thing, and that is going to be alpha of it. So for alpha, I'll say 1.8 f, which means now this is going to be slightly darker when I set. So I'll set it alpha. You won't see anything like this for now, but now when I set this background to black, you will see that it is working. So let's say if I reduce that alpha to 6, you will see that it will be much more like how I want it, right? Okay, so I think now we are somewhere in terms of the first background that we wanted to set, and the next thing that we need to do is that I'll just get open this, and now the next thing that we want to do is that we have the skip button on the top right corner, and then we have this welcome to, and then beneath that we have this food hub. Let's just start working on this. So now we have this background ready. I'll just slightly slide it further. Okay, now the first thing that we need to do is that we need a skip button on the top uh, right corner, right? So now this is basically the all background stuff that is being done, and now what we will do is that we will create a button, a simple button with this, and then inside that we will create a text. Okay, and then this text is going to be this, but what I'm gonna do is that I'll something say like string resource r dot string dot skip. Okay, now initially you will see that it's not available, so when you click alt enter, or if you are on Mac you will press option enter, you will get this, and then over here you can just add the text to this and then finish it. It will just add a string resource file, so that let's say in the so later on when you want to translate the app, it will be easier for you. So now you get this, and then you can see that we have something over here in terms of how it looks. Okay, so now you can see we have this button that is on the top left corner. We don't want it over here. Also we want it in white background, so we'll do a couple of things. And the first thing that I need is that I need to set it to white, so we'll make it this. So what we'll do that we'll go and set is dot colors. You can see over here that colors, and then it is going to be button defaults dot button colors, and inside that you can say container color to be white. Okay, if you set it to white, you will see that it's gone white. And what else you want is that we want that to be set in the top right corner. So for that we'll be setting a modifier on this, and we'll say modifier dot align, and we'll say top end. Okay, so once you set that, it will go to the top end. And now the last thing that we need is that we need to update the color of this, so the color should be something like this. Okay, and also let's add some padding from the. Okay, so once you add this padding, it will just leave the borders. And now let's see how it is. One more thing is that it is the color that it have is basically this orangish color. So let's just get that orange color. We'll just go to the UI, and inside theme we have this color, and over here I'll just create this pink along with pink 40. Let's call it orange. Okay, and when you click on that, you can just paste the hex file that you copied, and just now you have this orange color. And rather than using this, you can just use it as like this. Now let you can use it as orange color. Okay, okay, so I think that's one thing that is done. Now we need to do the other part where will be showing the text that says welcome and stuff like that. So for that, what I'm going to do is that I'll create a column, because I know that we are going to use that, and then at that column it should be something like this. The first thing is that we show us text with the says welcome, and that is going to be welcome to. So that is going to be welcome to as a first string. Okay, and the second one is going to be the button is not required. Why there are two buttons that. So now the next thing that we need to do is that we can just copy this, paste it over here, and then rather than using this, we will be using app name, and the color is going to be orange, and this color is not going to be white, that is going to be black. Okay, so once you do that, will hopefully this is out of date, so just make sure to reset it, and once you reset it, it will be displayed on the screen. Okay, so now we have this something like this, which is not ideal, right? We don't want it something like this. So what I'm gonna do is that I'll do a couple of things. So first thing is that we'll set a modifier dot fill max width. That's one thing, and then we will be adding a padding that is going to be top padding. So for top, I'm gonna say that I need at least a 110 dot dp from top. Okay, and the next thing is that we don't need this padding now. Okay, we just get rid of that. And one more thing that we need is that we will be saying the font size, and let's say 30.sp. I guess that should be enough. Make sure to add only to top so that it doesn't do something like this. And now this is done. We also need the font weight, that is going to be bold for both, like this. Okay, and what else do we have? Let's just see. It's the text size is more or less, the text size is around 50, 53. So let's just use that. I'm going to use 50, 50. That is most probably what it is, right? So we'll be using 50 for both, and thus this basically is going to be food hub. So I'm going to change that to app. So let's call it food hub, and then change that string to food hub. Okay, now once you do that, you will probably get the proper string message over here. And the next thing is that we have this text message that you can use. We'll also be using pop-in for that. I'm gonna copy that, get over here, and we all will add this more padding, I guess. That is going to be 16.dp from each side so that it leaves some safe space. The next thing, as I say, as you see, that we have another text, and that is going to be food hub description in the grayish color. Just use this over here for now. And since it's a string change, you might need to reset that, and hopefully once you reset it, you'll see this. That is going to be 20, something like that in terms of font size. So now that's done. That color is a little grayish, so I'm just change it to gray, or let's call it dark gray, so that it's something like this, right? So pretty much what it is. We can also add a couple of more formatting, like maybe we can add some, and vertical should be, so that it leaves some space from top. And now you have this. Okay, the next thing is that we'll be adding a couple of things in the bottom of this app. Like we will be using this already have an account, and then on top of that we will be having this, and then these kind of things. So we'll be using these values over there. So now let's just try to add these. And for that, what I'm going to do is that I'll create another column. Okay, and that is going to be something like this. The only difference is that we'll not be adding the padding to this. In fact, we will be adding alignment to this, and this time it's something going to be bottom, right? So that it goes to bottom. And as I mentioned that we will start from the bottom, we will be creating a text button, and a text button will be having a text that says something like already have account. Okay, and this means that now we'll say already have an account login, and you will save it. It's going to be white, all white, and then let's just refresh it so that you can see that we have this button in the bottom. The next thing that we want is that we have this button that has this white border and a grayish background, and then it says start with email or phone, since we will be using only email. So we'll be using for email only, right? And for that, let's just say something like this. We have a button on click function. Modifier says fill max width. The background color for this, it's going to be container color, and that container color is going to be light, or let's call it gray dot copy. And the alpha is going to be slightly, since it's a slightly um, empty one, that should say sign with email, and that is going to be sign in with email. Okay, and once you do that, a couple of more things that we need over here for this button is we need a shape that is going to be round corner shape, and let's call it 32 dp so that it covers. Now let's just refresh it. Okay, now you have this button over there. We might need to add more alpha to this so that it fix that. Now you can see that we also need a border around it, a white border. So for that we will be using borders, and border stroke something like this, right? So once you do that, you got this thing for yourself, and I think that's that. The next thing that we need in this design is we need these two buttons that says the Facebook and the Google button, and then along with that on top we have this text sign. So let's just add that. And since we know that this is going to be, the two buttons are going to be in a form of raw, so I'll be creating a raw, and then inside this raw I'm going to say modifier dot fill max width, and inside that let's create a button. So it says I see Google, right? And also since it is going to be a button plus text, so I'm gonna say raw again. Okay, and this is something like this. So that is going to be saying Facebook in this case, and we need something similar for Google as well. So we'll just create another one over here and say, I'll say this time I'm going to say I see Google and sign with Google. Okay, and again let's just add this text to the, oh sorry, that is going to be Google. Okay, so once you do that and let's just refresh it, you will see that the buttons will be there, but there will be still a couple of things that we need to do. And one of the thing is that we need to add the button colors, so I'm going to take that, and we also need a round corner, so these two values are that we need. So I'm going to get that and add it over here to both of the buttons so that we get those right. And rather than using this as alpha, I'm going to use white. Okay, so we got these two white colors, we got the round corners, and the text, we need some spacer between them. That's one thing. But also we need some padding. We need to center them vertically. And the text for the buttons should be black, so for this as well and for this as well. Okay, I think once you do that you should get a couple of functionality done. And now let's add a spacer, make it a .dp between them, that is going to be this. We add a spacer between this and also over here. Now you see we have this thing, right? Okay, now one thing is that I want a little bit spacing between them, and for that what I'm gonna say is that I'm gonna say horizontal arrangements, and that is mean that arrangement is going to be spaced evenly, which means that we will be evenly spaced from each other, and it will be something like this, or you can call it space between, which means that now it will leave the center of that and go to the each side. Also you can see that the height is slightly different for this. We have the height around 54, and over here the height might be different, so you can also work on that height as well. Okay, so I'm gonna say 38 dp for this for Google, and then the same is going to be for Google as well. Okay, a spacer between that, so we leave some space between these buttons. Okay, now I think that is done, and the last thing that we'll have left is a text that is simple text, and that says sign in title. Okay, and it's something as sign in, like this. And now over here what we will do is that we will say horizontally alignment, that is going to be center horizontally. So if anything that is basically on the sides, it will be just added, and now once you refresh it, you'll most probably get something in terms of the design, right? So it is something like this. We need to add a couple of lines on the borders or sides to that, but let's just add this later. And now rather than using just a simple dummy screen, the main activity over here, you can see that we're using this greeting. What I'm going to do is that I'll use this auth screen, and let's just create a box to be this. Okay, let's just run this code. It's becoming a quite lengthy video. I was not expecting this to for it to be that long, but I think it needed to be that long for this. And now let's just wait for the app to load on the screen. Okay, you see this is the first scene, and after that you get this screen, and this is what we wanted. Like, we have this cool buttons. You can click on these buttons. You can see that the clicks are already there, and pretty much everything is there. Now the thing is that what we want is that we need to work on the implementation of these navigation. So I think that's there is just one more issue with this, and that is, I guess, this black border that is being left. And the reason is that we need to do is the image that we have used, this one, we need to do content scale for that. Content scale, and that is going to be content scale. Let's say, let's just use fill bound. I think there is some issue with this image, and now to use fill bound, you'll see that this is now covering everything. And this is basically what we have right now. We need to fix this. We'll definitely fix this cover like this, but top covering it, but and now you can see that it's covering everything, and this is basically what it looks like. So this was it for this video. I'll see you in the next video. So till then, happy coding. Bye. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, please like the video, comment down below, and share the video with your friends. For similar content, you can subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram, and if you have any queries, you can join my Discord server where we discuss different kind of things. So thank you so much for watching the video. Have a great day. Bye.